My name is Joyce Harris, and I am a survivor. In November of 2007, I was diagnosed through my routine mammogram that I'd had my clinical breast exam with my gynecologist in June of 2007, but it wasn't picked up at that time. So routine mammogram that I've always had. My mother is a breast cancer survivor, so at the age of 35, I was adamant about getting my routine mammogram done every year. So fought with the insurance company every year to have it done because I wasn't of the age of 40. My grandmother succumbed, my maternal grandmother, to breast cancer. So it's family history of it, know how important it is. Didn't think that would actually happen to me because it happens to older people, older women, older men, not young people at 42. But I still wanted to make sure that I caught it if I did have breast cancer. When I was diagnosed, when I got a call back from Greenville Radiology telling me that I needed to come back in, that they needed to do some extra films, I of course had that happen to me in the past. So I kind of just blew it off as saying just artifacts on the film again. My husband that day said, "I'll go with you." And so he went with me, and they did the repeat films. Then they did an ultrasound and took us into a consultation room and said that in fact, the radiologist said, in fact, you do have a mass that we're going to have to needle biopsy. And so they needle biopsied it 2 days later, which I had to wait over a weekend for my results. And then my results came back that I did in fact have breast cancer. Immediately was sent to a surgeon and had my surgery the day before Thanksgiving of 2007, and then I started my chemo and radiation. So it was a very aggressive type for the fact that the gynecologist had not felt it in June, but then it was discovered on a routine mammogram, and it was 2 centimeters at that point. And I think because of going through it with my mother, my parents were divorced, so I was the sole caretaker of my mother when she was diagnosed. So I learned a lot then. But also then when it knocks on your door, you have to do some research as well, and it changes roles. At first, of course, I did all the literature around the living room, probably overwhelmed my husband with information to read, and then finally after about the second chemo, him and I both agreed, okay, that's it. Let's put the literature up and let's just deal with it as we come to it. And I think a lot of it has just been sharing amongst women. That is why it's so good to have a support system, to be able to share with each other, and then to also be able to walk the walk with other women so that you can guide them as well. I probably did. I think it was more of a shock to my immediate family than it was to me. To me, I was just, let's fix it, let's do the surgery, let's do the chemotherapy, let's do the radiation, let's move forward, let's get all this behind us and go on with life and enjoy it, because life is very short and very precious. Well, I think the first thing that women need to keep in mind, just because you've been diagnosed with breast cancer, it's not a death sentence. Life is not completely over. There is a future. Medical innovations, it's just, there's so much out there now. And I think that if you look community-wise, there are many options to support you, to encourage you, to give you knowledge, to know that it's not over, that life isn't finished. Why am I involved with Komen? Komen is absolutely, they just have done a tremendous job in reaching out into the community, educating, having opportunities for those that don't have health insurance, that need that routine mammogram done. I think that to me is the most important thing. I had several folks that asked me when I was diagnosed what they could do for me, and I said, have that routine mammogram done. And I think Komen is working towards education with that. Also for the research that they're putting into, they work hand in hand with research, and I think that that's how breast cancer will have a complete cure.